Let's look at this question. XYZ Institute scheduled 2 seminars, one each on how to become an entrepreneur and good business sense. The auditorium they had chosen for the seminar has sitting available only for 323 people, with that many chairs only arranged in the form of a grid having a dimension of 19 into 70. So the first 323 students were are only allowed to attend the seminar. So 323 seats, only the first come first serve basis. The first 323 people who register are allowed to attend the seminar. Okay. Each student was given a different registration number from among 1 to 323 at the time of registration. Although it was mandatory for everyone to attend both the seminars, and the same registration number is valid for both. Rows are numbered as row 1, row 2, row 9, so on and so forth, and columns are numbered from column 1, column 2 up till column 17. So there are 19 rows and 17 columns. Okay. So we have, let's say, row 1, row 2, row 3 keeps on going up until row 17, row 18, row 19. And column wise, we have column 1, column 2, column 3 keeps on going up until column 15, column 16, column 17. Okay. I'm not drawing out the entire table because this is more for representational purpose than precise calculation. This line is not great. This is now fine. Screen is not great. Something of this nature will exist. Something of this nature will exist. This portion here is mangled because I directly jumped from R3 to R17 and C3 to C15. I've simply taken up the first 3 and the last 3 questions. Okay. For how to become an entrepreneur, the students are asked to sit according to the registration number in a row-wise manner. For example, a student with the registration number 1 sits in row 1, column 1. So, row 1, column 1, sitting here. 1 is sitting here. And a student with the registration number 2 sits in row 1, column 2. So, people are seated this way. 1, 2, 3. And I can't go any further because numbers are not missing here. But it will be 15, 16, 17. Okay. Then a student with registration number, where are you? The student with registration numbers, row 1, what? There are 19 rows, 17 columns. This I have understood. The students are asked to sit according to registration number in a row-wise manner. For example, a student with registration number 1 sits in row 1, column 1. Student with registration number 2 sits in seat 1, row 1, in column 2, and so on. Then a student with registration number 18 sits in row 2 and column 1. Okay. So student with registration number 18 will sit here. 19 will sit here. 20 will sit here. It will keep on going. Now, identifying what this number is going to be. See, can you see the relationship here? 1 to 18, 17 more. 2 to 19, 17 more. 3 to 20, 17 more. So if I want to find out which people are sitting here, 15 plus 17, this should be 32. This should be 33. And this should be 34. If I want to extend this further, 18 plus 17 is going to be 35. I can also get 34 plus 1, 35. Then this 36, then this 37. You can also possibly see column 17 is now simply multiples of 17 only. So this will be 51. Go back. This will be 50. This will be 49. They can also be obtained. 32 plus 17 gets you to 49. and 33 plus 17 gets you to 50 that way. Now, if I want to make the leap to this point, what will be the registration number of the person sitting in row 17 column? See, row 1, or for this cell, can I say row 17 column 1, or let's say seat 17 comma 1, seat 17 comma 1. For seat 1 comma 1, what is the registration of the number? Registration number of the person sitting is 1. And seat of row 2 comma 1 is equal to 18, or the person who is sitting at seat row 3 comma 1, the number is 35. Can you see this 18 can be broken down as 17 into 1 plus 1, and this 35 can be broken down as 17 into 2 plus 1. So if I want to create a general form, if I want to simply create a general form, how am I doing it? Let's say seat number was ij. I is the row number, j is the column number. You get it as, I minus 1 into 17 plus j. Let's see the general form that we are generating. This plus 1 that we are arriving at is from the second number, and this number that we are multiplying 17 by is arriving from the first number minus 1. Let's see this row 3 column 16. So seat 3 comma 16, what should be the registration number of the person sitting there will be given by 2 into 17 plus 16. We are indeed getting 50 as we had previously calculated. So this expression that we have for seat I is I minus 1 into 17 plus j. This is valid. This basic, see, while it looks like an arrangement question, this is more number theory based. We work our way. So here, for row 17 and everything, for row 17, column 1, what will we have? 16 into 17, which gets us to 272 plus 1. So 273 will come here. Then 290 will come here. And then finally, what will come here? 17 more. So 307 will come here. The end here is definitely 323. So 322, 321, 17 lower than that. Or let's say I wanted to directly find out who is sitting here, registration number of the person sitting here. Row 17, column 16. It will be 16 into 17, 272, 272 plus 16. So this will be 288. This will be 289. This will be 287. Basically, for this seminar, I know in what row, what column. If you give me a seat number according to row and column, I can give you the registration number. Also, if you give me the registration number, I can give you the row and column also. So my ability is far-reaching when it comes to this particular seminar, and this was how to be an entrepreneur. The blue numbers are for how to be an entrepreneur. For good business sense, students are asked to sit according to the registration number in a column-wise manner. For example, a student with registration number 1 sits on seat in column 1, row 1. Student with registration number 2 sits on the seat in column 1, row 2. So let's say the first person sits here, but I should use a distinctly different color. Let me use this color. First person sits here, second person sits here, third person sits here, 17th person sits here, 18th person sits here, 19th person sits here. Then the student with registration number 20 sits in column 2 and row 1. 20 here, 21 here, 22 here, 23 here. Sorry, not 23. So mistaken. It has to be 19 more. So 17 plus 19 is 36, 37, 38, and so on. 19 more, 39, 40, 41, 19 more, 55, 56, 57, Now that we know, wait, let me write this down. This is for how to be an entrepreneur. This is the for seat I comma j. This will be the registration number. For the other thing, good business sense. For good business sense, can I say for seat number I comma j, where I and j are still row numbers and column numbers, it will be given by I plus j minus 1 into 19. Let's see if this expression works for row 2, column 3. For S2, comma 3, what do we get? 2 plus 2 into 19, or we get 40, which is indeed the registration of the number person sitting here. So this expression is also valid. This expression is also valid. Both these expressions work, which will enable us to get to seat numbers of all the individuals. Let's say for, I will do it for two places. I will do it for this place. I will do it for this place. This is row 3, column 17. So the number is going to be 3 plus 16 into 90. 3 plus 16 into 19. The 16 into 20 is 320. So 304. The person sitting here will be 307. The person sitting here will be 307. 16 into 19 is 304. 304 plus 3 is 307. Or here it is row 17, column 15. Row 17, column 15. So 17 plus 14 into 19. So 14 into 19. 14 into 20 is 280. 280 minus 14 is 266. 266 plus 70. Or 283. The number of the person sitting here is 283. We can find out the registration of number of the persons sitting at different seats. Okay. Now let's get to individual questions. This is more a mathematical formulation than where people are sitting. And these two expressions that get generated are the way forward. Once you generate these two expressions, everything else within the set can be handled. Okay. Let's see the first question. The first question says, how many students got to sit in the same place in both the seminars? How many students got to sit in the same place in both the seminars? Now, very cursory glance to tell you, the first person and the last person, 323 and 1, will definitely sit in the same place. But is there any other place? That you cannot do, because 17 by 19 table you will make and then fill up all the seats and then compare. That is going to be very cumbersome. Instead, what is going to help is, for the same seat number, do we have these two expressions becoming equal? The first expression is 17i minus 17 plus j. And the second expression is 19j plus I minus 19. So I take the 19 to this side. 2 is equal to, I take j to this side, 18j minus 16i. Remember, I was row number. I was row number and j was column number. So I have an expression 18j minus 16i is equal to 2, or 9j minus 8i is equal to 1. So I have to come up with potential solution sets for j and I, where I will get a difference of 1. So let's work our magic. Let's try. First thing I can see is 1 and 1 would work. The first possible solution set that we can get is 1 and 1, and that is fine. The next case would be when j increases by 8 and I increases by 9. So this becomes 9. This becomes 10. This is also a possible case. This increases by 9. This increases by 10. This is also fine. Absolutely fine. The next case would be when j increases by 8. So it becomes 17. And I increases by 9, becomes 19. The next case would be when j increases by 8. it reaches 25. 9 increases by 9, it becomes 28. Can you see this is not possible at all? Because J was supposed to be column number, I was supposed to be row number. Row can go up till a maximum of 19, and column can go up till a maximum of 17. So these three are possible solution sets. These three are possible solution sets for J and I, and they are also the possible row and column numbers for the three people who get the same seat in both the seminars. The answer to the question has to be option D, 3. Now, visually, if you can arrive at this result, it would be even better. The two people that we were fairly confident were sitting on this seat, and this seat, the starting seat and the last seat. Can you also see the person sitting right in between? The person sitting right in between. Can you see this 9 into 10? 9 into 10 for 17 columns. For 17 columns, column 9 is the middle column. For 19 rows, 10th row is the middle row. The person in between and the person at the two extreme. These are the only three people who will have the identical registration number person sitting there. Apart from them, there is no other person who will be having the same experience. The answer to the question is this 3. Next, if a student got a seat in row 11 and column 12, so he's got 11, 12 in the seminar How to Become an Entrepreneur, and in row N and column M in seminar Good Business Sense, then find the value of M plus N. Seat 11, 12 in How to Be an Entrepreneur. So his registration number I can figure out will be 10 into 17 plus 12. 10 into 17 plus 12 or 182. Now, if his number is 182, if this number is 182, this is equal to N, because his row N and column M. So M plus N minus 1 into 19. This is what we are seeking. So the highest multiple of 19 under 182. The highest multiple of 19 under 182 is 171, the ninth multiple. So I can break this down as 11 plus 10 minus 1 into 19. So this gives me M is equal to 11, N is equal to, no, I'm making a mistake. Row N, row N, so N is equal to, not M, N is equal to 11, and M is equal to 10. Either way, it wouldn't make a difference because finally we are looking for M plus N. So 11 plus 10, the answer to the question should be option D, 21. Essentially, this expression finding that we had done earlier, has enabled us to reach the value directly. Okay. Next question. If the grid was of dimensions 13 into 11, and hence only 143 students were given registration number, then how many of them got the chance to sit in the same place in both the seminars? Now see, if there were only grid was dimensions 13 into 11. Right now, we had 19 into 17. So 19 rows, 17 columns. Now there are 13 rows and 11 columns. All that it does is changes the number of rows and columns. So given that previously number of columns were 17, now the number of columns are 11. Can I say my expressions, registration numbers of the people sitting at a particular seat, the formula will simply get edited to I minus 1 into 11 plus j, and here it will get edited to I plus j minus 1 into 13. Same thing, similar structure, similar everything, just that it gets edited because total number of rows and columns have changed. So now we have to identify how many students got a chance to sit in the same place in both the seminars. Visually, hopefully you remember the 3 seats are going to be the first, the last, and the middle one. Even here you will get the same result, but mathematically, in order to prove that, we equate these. We get 11I minus 11 plus j is equal to I plus 13j minus 13. This 13 comes to the left hand side. we get 2 is equal to 12j minus 10i, or 6j minus 5i is equal to 1. First case is 1 comma 1, the first seat. The next case is 6 comma 7. Again, see, for 11 columns, 6 is the middle column. For 13 rows, 7 is the middle row. And the next case is going to be 5 more, 11 and 13. And there can be no more further cases. So there are going to be 3 seats again. There are going to be 3 seats again. This is done. Last question. Registration number with which a student got a chance to sit in the same place in both the seminars is called a magic number. Okay. How many magic numbers are common in the grid size of 19 into 17, 13 into 11? Let's see the magic numbers for grid numbers. For grids 19 into 17 were 1. The seat right in the middle. So 323 by 2 plus 0.5, or the precise middle value of 19 into 17 was 162, and finally 323. For 19 into 17 grid, these were the registration numbers that got people the same seat. For 13 into 11, the registration numbers of the people who got them the same seat is 1, 140, and 72. Basically, the middle seat number is average of the first number and the last number. So you can generate that quickly. How many magic numbers are common between these two arrangements? Just 1. So answer to the last question in the set is option A, and that is the entirety of the set. Hopefully you realize this is an exercise in number theory familiarity, remainder rules, divisibility work. This is not arrangement, and if you're comfortable with the number system, this should flow smoothly. That will be all.